This 38-year-old woman, dressed in a seductive and stylish outfit, walked confidently onto a college campus full of young men. Her curvy, elegant figure drew countless gazes within seconds. She stood at the bottom of the academic building, waiting for her 19-year-old boyfriend to finish class. Ethan, still in his first year of college, caught sight of his girlfriend from a distance. His eyes widened. He froze in place, caught off guard by her beauty and presence. Carmen, smiling, waved him over and invited him to an art show that evening. Ethan stammered, overwhelmed, then nodded with excitement. After saying goodbye, he walked away grinning. Carmen was no ordinary woman. She was the editor of a top fashion magazine, known for her fierce work ethic and cold demeanor. She had just returned from a trip overseas, supervising a printing house. But on the flight home, she was harassed by a man seated nearby. Agitated and tired, she hastily pulled a young man into the empty seat beside her. His name was Ethan, a first-year architecture student, flying first class for the first time. He was thrilled, playing with his seat's reclining features like a child. They exchanged names briefly. When the flight landed, Ethan noticed a small flash drive on the floor. He picked it up and tried to call out to Carmen, but she had already left. Back at her office, Carmen learned that her rival, Lena, was attempting to steal her position. Her boss, unconvinced by Carmen's recent work, said Lena was bold, uninhibited, and more appealing to modern readers. He even mocked Carmen for being too cold and passionless, that she'd been single for 8 years and had forgotten what it meant to live. Already rattled, Carmen realized the flash drive was missing. Her assistant left a note saying someone named Ethan had found it. She immediately called him. Ethan, partying at a local disco, froze when he heard her voice. Soon after, Carmen arrived in person. Ethan greeted her nervously. When she realized he didn't have the flash drive with him, she insisted they go get it. Ethan offered her a ride on his small bubblegum pink scooter. He gently helped her with the helmet. Two of her colleagues, passing by, snapped photos of the charming scene. They retrieved the drive, and as she turned to leave, Ethan hesitated. He nervously asked if she'd like to grab a coffee sometime. Carmen smiled and declined. "You're too young," she said softly. "We're not right for each other." The next morning, Carmen entered the office and felt dozens of eyes on her. Her assistant whispered that the scooter photos had gone viral within the company. But strangely, her boss loved it. He thought it was edgy and trendy. A woman dating a guy 20 years younger? That's bold. Desperate to keep her job, and encouraged by friends, Carmen decided to lean into the narrative. She dressed sexier, more daring than ever, and returned to Ethan's campus. She invited him to a show again, this time with real intent. That night, Ethan knocked on her door. Carmen opened it slowly, unsure. Without a word, Ethan stepped forward, pulled her into his arms, and entered. She didn't stop him. Years of loneliness caved in. She led him straight to her bedroom. The noise from their passion even stunned a man walking his dog downstairs. After that night, something shifted. Carmen took Ethan to one of her magazine's major fashion shows. The CEO of the parent company was there. Midway, a model tripped on the runway. Without thinking, Ethan ran up and helped her. The CEO assumed it was part of a planned dramatic performance. Afterward, at the company party, Carmen noticed Lena snooping around, likely trying to expose her. Panicked, she pulled Ethan onto the dance floor and shared an intimate, swirling dance to distract everyone. They left the event together on Ethan's scooter. But when he hinted at coming upstairs, Carmen refused. He didn't give up. Later that week, Ethan planned a small surprise. He pinned a note to a tree near her apartment and directed her to an MP3 player hidden under a bench. Then he appeared on his pink scooter and took her on a ride through the city. It wasn't expensive, but it was real. Carmen, used to roses and 5-star dinners, realized she was enjoying the raw simplicity. Eventually, Carmen confessed the truth. She had an 8-year-old daughter. She told Ethan, "I only have weekends to give you. You're still so young. Don't waste your youth on someone like me." Ethan was stunned. They broke up. He retreated into himself, devastated. Meanwhile, Carmen's boss, unaware of the breakup, forced her to bring Ethan back for a photo shoot, even threatening her job. Carmen visited Ethan. He thought she was there to reconcile, but when he discovered her motive, he walked away in silence. During the shoot the next day, Ethan showed up, hiding his heartbreak. But when the photographer mocked him, he lost his temper. He stormed off, diving into the nearby pool in fury. Carmen ran after him, apologizing in front of everyone. Ethan exploded. "You used me," he said. "You never loved me. You just wanted your promotion." The room fell silent. Carmen couldn't defend herself. Her boss immediately fired her. Days later, while cleaning her apartment, she found Ethan's old sneakers under her couch. She picked them up and just stared. For the first time, her heart ached for real. Her daughter's voice behind her snapped her out of it. In that moment, Carmen knew she truly loved Ethan, so she did something reckless. She returned to his college. His classmates guided her to his lecture hall. There, in front of everyone, Carmen declared her love. Ethan stood speechless. When he asked about their future, Carmen stepped forward and kissed him. Sometimes, love isn't about what makes sense, it's about what makes you feel alive. And for Carmen, this love, wild, imperfect, and improbable, finally made her feel like herself again. If you've ever loved someone society didn't understand, don't let the world confuse you. Be brave. Live it fully. Love without regret. Everyone in the lecture hall stared as Carmen stood, breathless, in front of Ethan. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. The whispers, the judgment, the years between them, all of it faded as she looked into his eyes. "I don't care if you're younger," she said, voice shaking. "I don't care if people talk. I only know that I've been sleepwalking through life until I met you. And I'm done pretending." Ethan stood slowly. He walked down the steps toward her, his face unreadable. When he finally reached her, he paused just inches away. Then he smiled. That same smile from the airplane. That same boyish, wide-eyed light she had fallen for. "I've been waiting to hear that," he said. "I loved you even when I wasn't supposed to." The room erupted with applause, some sincere, some unsure, but neither of them heard it. All Carmen could feel was his hand holding hers, grounding her like gravity. That night, they didn't go to dinner or a show. Instead, they went back to Carmen's apartment and made dinner together with her daughter, Ava, giggling as Ethan failed at chopping onions. They danced barefoot in the kitchen to old records. They laughed like they hadn't laughed in years. Ethan never asked Carmen to be anything other than herself, and Carmen, for the first time in nearly a decade, stopped running from the woman she really was. Weeks later, Carmen didn't just get her job back. She launched her own digital fashion platform, bold, raw, and real, inspired by her journey. Ethan designed the office layout for her, and every wall in that space whispered the story of a woman who chose love over fear. One afternoon, Carmen stood in front of a crowd at her launch event. She looked at Ethan in the front row, Ava beside him, both cheering her on. She took a deep breath and said, "They told me I was too old to fall in love again. They told me I was crazy for choosing someone 20 years younger. But what they didn't tell me is that sometimes the heart knows what the world never will." And with that, she smiled, not just because she had survived the fall, but because she had risen, not alone, but loved, fully, fearlessly, forever.